Okay, this one is called Rats and Drip, Drip, Drip. Now, this may not make any sense to you, but I felt like it might have a little meaning to somebody. Just another one of those little kind of unusual experiences that I've had. But I think it was in 2015, at the end of the hunt season. I parked my little truck up there on the hill in the boat shed just to kind of get it out of the way. Because at the time, the grandchildren were still living with us and didn't have room on the carport because of their vehicles. Anyway, I left it up there, I don't know, 3 weeks or 4 weeks, I don't know. Anyway, one day, my wife and I were going to ride to Monroe. And it was by this time, I think it was in February, it was cold. So I go up there and get it, bring it down to the house and left it running, warm it up. So go inside, and by the time that we got ready to go, it was warm in the truck. So I got to get in on my side. The wife starts to get in on her side. And she says, "Wow!" Screams, "There's a rat! There goes a rat!" Went on the truck, come out from on the dashboard of the truck seat. She said, "There's another one." So, long story short, I got me a stick, a broom, or something. I don't remember what it was. Anyway, I killed two. And she said, "I'm not going to Monroe in this truck and rats in here." I said, "Well, I killed them, I think. I'm not going in that truck." So we left the truck here, and I went in the car. Anyway, I got back. I set a rat trap in there just to see. And I caught another one. And I may have caught another one. I'm not sure. Anyway, I left the trap in there for several days. Didn't catch nothing else. So, but well, that's all of that. So I started driving it again. After a few days, it started smelling a little bit. And it got stronger and stronger. So I told my wife that them rats are still in here somewhere. And they built the nest here, and it's just getting to smell pretty rough in here. So I took it to the dealership and told them what the situation was. So I left it with them. 2 or 3 days, they called me and said they had to take the whole dash out. The rats had built a nest in there somewhere, and there were some baby rats in there, and one of them had gotten a heater fan and bladder stuff everywhere. But so they had to clean all that out, sanitize everything, and put it all back. Anyway, long story short, about $750. Wow, you know, for rats. Anyway, I paid it, and went about my business, and then wasn't too long, too many weeks after that, 2 or 3. Oh, we got a tremendous rain here. Over a 2-day period, I think we had 15 inches. And I was still working at the time. My grandson was still living here, and he was going to school. Anyway, I got up. It wasn't daylight yet. Drank my coffee and get ready to go to work. I sit down on a recliner, and I hear, I thought, what is that? Is that a clock? We had a couple of clocks in there, and of course, I can't hear real well. I never could pinpoint where that was. And I went listen to the clocks. It sounded like the clock. I sat back down. I thought, that sounded like water dripping. I never could find it. It wasn't too long after that, my grandson got up. He's got very keen hearing. And he walked, and I said, "What is that, Nathaniel?" Oh, it didn't take him just a few seconds. He went right to it. It was water. was dripping right down through my ceiling fan. And right out there, not too far from the end of my recliner where I was sitting, hitting that floor. So drip, drip, drip. I thought, man, ain't this good. Anyway, it was raining, water everywhere, all the roads were closed. You know, wasn't either trying to get nobody to fix it that day. I went on to work, and that on my mind all day. You know, it is drip, drip, drip. Now, I guess that burnt the ceiling fan. And anyway, time went on, and a few days it quit raining, but there was another big system coming in. If it's been some more rain, I think that's where it went. Anyway, I called the people that bought the house from them, told them about the leak. He said, well, they'd send somebody to check it over. Well, they did. And they came out, checked it out. Sure enough, they found a little nail hole somewhere. They fixed it. Didn't charge me nothing. And there was some other work I wanted to have done in the house too. So I showed them that while they was there. And yeah, well, we'll send somebody out to fix that. So they sent a crew out, I think the next day. Two guys spent all day here doing that little bit of work I wanted done. And they didn't charge me anything for that. So I got my leak fixed free. I got that extra work done free. And then just wasn't long after I stopped by the insurance office for something. I don't know why. I was just sitting there talking to them about my insurance, and it hit me about the rats. And I told them, I said, I don't know, y'all cover that? He probably. I said, bring me an invoice. So I did. Sure enough, they covered everything except my deductible, which was $250. So, but in the meantime, I was just praying about all this stuff. And I said, Lord, why have I got to have rats in my truck? Why have I got to have my roof got a leak? And all I got was, well, sometimes, you know, your roof has to leak, and just sometimes you have to have rats in your truck. That's all I could get. But I knew that wasn't the whole story, but well, that's all I got for now. So a few days later, I was praying again. And the Spirit of the Lord come up on me when I was praying, and I said, Lord, what about these rats and this drip, 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 my roof leak? He said, sometimes you're going to have rats in your truck. Sometimes your roof's going to leak. And then sometimes there's going to be a lion's den. Sometimes there's going to be a fiery furnace. Sometimes there's just going to be those things. They just got to be. So it's kind of funny how the Lord compared those two things that happened to me to a fiery furnace, to a lion's den. It was just my trial. It was my situation. Well, long story short, I got all the rat work covered except for $250, and that the money I saved by the Lord sending somebody out to fix my leak and do that other work, which would have been probably $400 or $500. So in the end, I probably made money off the both deals, and God taught me a lesson in the whole. So you never know when something happens, what's going to come after that. Just like I said, the guy come fix my leak. He looked at the other work, and they came back and did that for free. So the Lord, maybe the Lord sent them there just to do all that for me. It didn't cost me nothing. So, you know, there's just blessings in everything, and whatever God does, He does it for a reason and for a purpose. So, I don't know if it's made any sense to you or not, but it did to me. Sometimes a roof's got a leak. It's going to be drip, drip, drip. And sometimes it's going to be rats in our truck. So, God bless.